Hey guys, welcome to my presentation for Module 9, the assignment for the presentation. These are my 5 participants. And the camera lady. Okay, we'll get started. Okay, so welcome this evening guys. My name is Michael Managy. I'll be delivering a presentation on what is healthy, so enjoy. Okay, thank you, my assistant. So the topics that we'll be discussing today are what is a healthy diet, the 7 basic nutrients, so the 7 basic nutrients required for good health, the Australian Dietary Guidelines recommended daily intakes, so we'll discuss the 5 guidelines that there are. Physical activity, so the importance of physical activity in the quest for weight management as well as good nutrition. And finally, the 5 food groups. Okay, so a healthy diet. So Australian Dietary Guidelines are in place to help men and women achieve good health, both physically as well as in their body's requirements. So there are 5 guidelines which we'll touch on further as we go. Okay, so another healthy tip to go about is to consume a variety of foods from all the 5 food groups. So again, later in the slide we'll be discussing the 5 food groups, but as no single food group contains all the nutrients that our bodies need, that's why they're in place, so we can get all the nutrients as a total from all our 5 food groups. Okay, so as I mentioned, a healthy diet, so sticking with the guidelines as well as a variety of foods, should provide majority, if not all, of the nutrients to our bodies for good health. And a healthy diet also helps to improve our physical and mental health. So it keeps our weight under control, it keeps our mind healthy, it's just good for mental health, a good stress reliever, etc. And finally, prevents, well not finally, there are many other reasons, but for the slide, to prevent obesity and health conditions. So obesity is becoming a major health epidemic around Australia and the world. And the 2 main contributing factors are to do with lack of physical exercise and a poor diet. Okay, so Australian Dietary Guidelines and recommended daily intakes. So, Guideline 1 suggests to achieve and maintain a healthy weight, be physically active, and choose amounts of nutritious foods and drinks to meet your energy needs. So basically, to have good nutrition as well as a good fitness regime, as well as choosing the amounts of foods, which we'll go into later, to meet our body's energy requirements and energy needs, so calorie output versus calorie input. Okay, Guideline 2, to enjoy a wide variety of nutritious foods from these 5 food groups every day. So not, like a high protein diet versus, low carbohydrates. It's going to be hard to get some of those food groups nutrition and needs from that. So, yep, Guideline 3. So Guideline 3 to limit the intake of foods containing saturated fats, added salt, added sugars and alcohol. So it's quite a concern, the amount of fast food restaurants, the amount of foods containing added salt, because flavour, as well as the added sugars in juices, in our soft drinks, energy drinks, and alcohol can be quite a big thing for most of society. And we'll just touch on Guideline 4 and 5. Our main focus today will be Guidelines 1 to 3. So Guidelines 4 suggests to is to encourage, support and promote breastfeeding. And guideline 5 is to care for your food and store it safely. So, guideline 1, as we just mentioned, to achieve and maintain a healthy weight, be physically active, choose amounts of nutritious foods and drinks to meet your energy needs. So the Australian Government, Department of Health, lists guidelines at www.health.gov.au. These guidelines are separate from the dietary guidelines, but altogether do come under the same and are to be used in contribution with guideline 1. So the physical activity guidelines suggest, so today we've just picked out for the adults 18 to 64 years old, just to talk about. So they basically say any physical activity is better than none. So even your incidental activity like walking the stairs instead of the elevator, parking a bit further from your car, all that sort of stuff, as well as like a 20-30 minute walk. Also, to build on a regime gradually, so a lot of people may just jump straight into the gym with a personal trainer and start doing 5-6 sessions a week. So that can cause injuries, as well as not give our body enough time to adapt muscle-wise as well as cardiovascular-wise. Okay, to be active on most days, preferably all. So active doesn't mean just being in the gym, having a hard session, but just to be physically active, walking your dog, playing with your children, etc. Okay, it also states to accumulate 150 to 300 minutes, which is equal to 2.5 to 5 hours of moderate intensity exercise, or 75 minutes to 150 minutes. So again, 1.25 to 2.5 hours of vigorous exercise each week. So these can be, your high intensity training exercises. And lastly, to do muscle strengthening activities on at least 2 days per week. So that's where you're going to get in the gym, do your exercises, or your body weight exercises as well without the weight. Everyone clear so far? Awesome. Okay, so benefits of regular physical activity include, but are not limited to, reduced risk of heart attack. So very important, keeps the heart strong, keeps our weight down. Next, helps to manage weight. So nutrition is majority the main ingredient, I guess, to managing weight and losing weight. But physical activity is probably about 30% of it, where nutrition is 70%. Also helps to lower blood cholesterol, blood pressure, a risk of type 2 diabetes, and even some cancers. Also, so stronger bones, muscles and joints. So very important for the elderly, as well as women are susceptible a bit more than men are for osteoporosis, which is when your bone density starts to go, basically, where your muscles start to decrease. So it's good for building up bone density, as well as I just suggested, minimise the risk of osteoporosis and falls. So more in the elderly, with the falling over, breaking the hip, just lack of balance and flexibility and strength. So very important. Physical activity also helps us to recover better, to feel better, have more energy, believe it or not, even though you're expending energy. And lastly, better sleep. We can all do with that. Better mood and a better mind. Okay, so we just skipped through that, that's alright. The 5 food groups, there it is. So we're on to guideline 2 now. So the 5 food groups, we've got our vegetables. Everyone loves these. So your standard vegetables. So you got your grains, which are your whole grains, your rices, your high fibre cereals, your breads, all that sort of stuff. protein, so our lean meats, our poultry, which is our chicken, turkey, you've got your beef, your nuts, your seeds, your fish, your eggs, all that nice stuff. Fruit, so standard bananas, apples, pears, oranges, and our dairy food group, which is all your milks, your cheeses, yogurt, and that. So basically, as we mentioned earlier, consuming foods from all the 5 food groups. So the guidelines reveal that Australians need to eat more fruit and veg, grains, cheese, yogurts, low-fat milk, water instead of sugary alternatives. And they also reveal that Australians need to eat less processed meats, so all your hams from the deli, a lot of that stuff, salamis, your sugary drinks, cordial sports drinks, alcohol, your lollies, desserts, cream and butter, fried and fatty foods, cakes, jam and honey. Okay, next slide. So, guideline 3, to limit the intake of foods containing saturated fat, added salt, sugars, as we just touched on. So, alcohol, in case you didn't know, that's what it looks like. Got a lot of our fast foods. So I just put in a little slide, a little picture here. So the Kraft peanut butter, no added salt. A lot of them do have added salts. A lot of our foods do have added salts. So that's one way we can cut it down. And our pastries and all our fried foods. So our 7 essential nutrients. So an essential nutrient is one our body must obtain through our diet. So either our body does not produce or make enough of it, or doesn't make it at all. So there are 7 essential nutrients. So our carbohydrates, which are our body's primary fuel source and our brain's primary fuel source. Sources of carbohydrates include our breads, our cereals, whole grains and starchy vegetables. So when carbohydrates are broken down into the body, they're broken down into glucose, which goes into the bloodstream and used for energy, and any excess, so a lot of the foods we eat, the excess will go into our liver and our muscles for storage in the form of glycogen or our fat tissue. Lovely. Okay, so our fats. Our fats provide a source of energy, energy storage, and are helpful for our body's growth. So the good fats, there are 2 types of good fats: our mono fats and our polyunsaturated fats. So these include nuts, avocados, fatty fish, cheese and virgin olive oil. And the fats to limit are our trans fats, our saturated fats, so our fried foods, our pastries, stuff like that. Okay, so just before we move on to protein, no, sorry, I got mixed up. Alright, protein now. The building blocks of the body. So every cell in your body contains protein, so very important. Sources of protein, as I discussed, your chicken, your beef, kangaroo, eggs, lentils. So, quick rundown: when protein is broken down into the body, it turns into, or it's broken down in the form of amino acids, which is then, I guess, used for every cell of the body. So there are 20 amino acids in total. So 9 of these are essential, so meaning our body cannot produce enough of these, so we need to get them through our diet. Okay, next. Our vitamins. So these allow your body to grow and develop. So there are 13 vitamins in total. We've got our 4 fat-soluble vitamins, in vitamin A, D, E and K, and these are broken down in the intestinal tract, and the other 9 are water-soluble vitamins. So these are absorbed in water, so basically in your stomach. Minerals, vital for maintaining normal bodily function and good health. So they're found in the body. There are trace minerals and major minerals. So major minerals are ones that are required in larger amounts, while trace are required in only smaller amounts. And as well, we need to get these through our foods. Okay, fibre. So fibre maintains healthy bowel movements. So nice toilet, regular. It maintains good bowel health. So sources of fibre include our whole grain cereals, whole grains, rices, high fibre cereals, your fruit. So another important role for fibre is, as well as promotes good digestion, it also helps us to feel fuller. Okay, and finally we have water. So water is very important for the body, as 60% of it is made up approximately, makes up our body of water, and 70% of that of water is in our brain. Okay, so here is a little chart for the adult recommended average daily serves. So we'll just look at the men 19 to 50 for an example. It says we should include 6 serves of vegetables, 2 serves of fruit, 6 serves of grain, 3 serves of lean meat, 2.5 serves of dairy, and 0 to 3 serves of our discretionary choices. So the not so good food we should be eating. So we'll get into the serving sizes in a sec, as 6 servings of vegetables can seem like a lot to get in, but we'll get into this right away. So what is a serve of grain? So a serve of grain can just be as simple as 1 slice of bread, half a cup of cooked rice, 2/3 a cup of cereal, or half a cup of cooked pasta then. So lost my slides. Okay, so next, so how much is a serve of lean meat? So we have as simple as 65 gram piece of steak, which is a lot smaller than what your restaurants would serve of, say, a 300 gram steak. So when it comes to our serving sizes, you can see there a lot are quite easy to fit in. A serving of protein is 100 grams, so 1 of your small tins of tuna, 2 large eggs, or an 80 gram piece of chicken breast. Okay, next. So a serving of dairy can be 1 cup of milk, 2 slices of cheese, 3/4 a cup of yogurt, or a cup of soy milk. Serving of vegetables. So as I mentioned, there were 6 servings recommended for men aged 19 to 54. So a serving of vegetables can be half a cup of vegetables, so isn't that much. That you most likely should have maybe a cup of vegetables, so that's already your 2 serves. If you include a cup of a salad at lunch, or 2 cups, that's your 4 serves, and you've got a half a medium potato or sweet potato there to make up your other 2. Okay, and lastly, a serving of fruit. So it can be 1 medium banana or apple, so 1 of your larger fruits, or 2 of your smaller kiwi fruits, your plums, your nectarines. Okay, so summary. What we've covered tonight, what is a healthy diet? So including your dietary guidelines, physical activity, your 5 food groups, your 7 basic nutrients, how important they are to get a good diet in so your body can get enough of these. Australian dietary guidelines. Guideline 1, so your physical health, so your activity. Guideline 2, the 5 food groups, and our recommended daily intake. So, all this information can be found at the following web addresses. Thank you for your time.